Hi everyone, it's Sean from What Up. Welcome back to another video and happy Wheel of Time Wednesday. Yes, the Wheel of Time account dropped 10 new Season 3 images today that we're going to go through in minute detail tonight and talk about what's going on in each and every one of them. I mean, let's face it, that's what we do here. So if you like the Wheel of Time, if you're excited about Season 3 coming out March 13th, consider making us your home for Wheel of Time news. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, tell 2 of your friends. We are trying to hit 25,000 subscribers before March. I think we can do it. We're about 1,500 away. It's possible, maybe not probable, but I have hopes and dreams, so let's see if we can get there, folks. Now, like I said, we're going to go through those 10 images tonight. I'll showcase them here. We'll talk about them. We'll try to figure out what's going on. And then at the end of the video, I'll host a new community section, something I haven't done in a while, and feature one of our Wheel of Time TikTokers, KRITTERXD, and she's going to talk just a bit about what she does and where she can be found, just in case TikTok decides to go away for you folks in the US again, even though the rest of us in the world still had it. So there's that. All right, so we're going to do spoilers on this video for up to and including Book 5, that's The Fires of Heaven. So if you haven't read the first 5 books of the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan, be forewarned, I may ruin plot points and character arcs from that. Mostly we're going to talk about some of the characters and things that are going on in the photos. So if you haven't read the books, you're probably not going to be spoiled too much, but there might be some minor spoilers here and there. All right, so let's dive into our very first image. We're going to have to reorient here because I don't want to be taking up your whole screen. We want these images to do that. Okay, folks, we're starting off strong here. Rosamund Pike is Moraine. Now, I don't know about you folks, but Moraine is to Rosamund like Wolverine is to Hugh Jackman, at least for me. I can't see anyone else ever playing her, or at least doing near as good a job as Rosamund does. She's absolutely killing it. Last season, she was absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to see where we go with this next season. Now, in this particular shot, you see her, what looks to be the Aiel waist, perhaps the World of Dreams. We did see the World of Dreams, a lot of white sand, but we've seen shots of the Aiel waist, and we'll see another picture later on of the Aiel waist from these images that were released where they have white sands as well. So it's one or the other, and I'm leaning more towards the waist because I don't think she'd be channeling like this in the World of Dreams, although anything is possible, I think, at this point. But she has some amazingly worked filigree-esque type breastplate on that. Let's face it, folks, the costuming in the show is gorgeous. The show itself is just polished and gorgeous all around. I have nothing bad to say about the costuming ever in the show from all 3 seasons so far. Or at least the first 2 seasons from what we've seen from Season 3. And this is no exception. I don't know what it is or why she's wearing it. I am excited to find out. And I assume you folks are too. But she's channeling through what looks to be an object of power, and she's concentrating quite hard on this. Now, this object of power I've talked about in 2 other videos. One was the teaser trailer. I broke it down because we saw her channeling through this same ball. And the other one was a leaks video I did probably a month and a half, 2 months ago. Maybe more. They're in my exclusives under the channel in that playlist if you want to take a look at that. And this particular object of power was called Sarkhanen. Now, Sarkhanen is a separate sangreal within the book series. I won't get into what, how, why, and where, because I didn't give spoilers that far in the book series. But just be known that it does not look like this. It looks more like a scepter in the books, but that's what it's called, at least from the leak that I was made aware of. And it also has the properties of the Chosen Call. So this is either an access key or one of the Chosen Call for this show. It's basically an incredibly powerful sangreal that is one of 2 most powerful ones in the world within the book series. Not quite sure how they're going to play it out in the show, whether this is an access key to them, because in the books they were giant statues that couldn't be moved. This may be just a very portable, small version of it, or it could be an access key, just like in the books. But during that leak video, I also talked about this being used as a Chosen Call within the show. So she is using one of the most powerful sangreal here in this particular shot. And she does look strained using it. And I'm pretty excited to see why she's using it. She's in the waist. Who's she fighting? What's she doing? Is she creating water, sort of like Rand did during the books? We don't really know. But I am excited to find out exactly where and how this scene fits into the show. Next up, we have arguably an even better photo. They really released some bangers today. This one is Sophie Okonato, who plays Swan, who is the Amerlin in the show. And she was absolutely amazing the first 2 seasons. If you're unaware, she is a multiple award-winning actress that does stage, television, and movies. And she's been acting for, she has a credits list longer than I can count. She is a huge get for the show, and she's been absolutely amazing. She also plays Moraine's love interest, as well as the Emerald in the show. And she looks to be pretty upset about something and channeling a ton of the power. And the fandom is pretty much settled on the fact that the different colors mean different weaves. So there's fire here, there's some earth, there's some air, and look in the back there, maybe some spirit or water. Kind of hard to tell with it getting kind of blurry in the back there. But she doesn't look happy either. And she appears to be standing next to someone in a blue dress, so probably blue Ajah, perhaps. So we can't guess that she's in the tower here, but if you look at the top right-hand side of this image, there is what appears to be some of that tower stonework. It's very, very easy to pick out. It's the same in every shot we've ever seen of the White Tower and Tar-Valon. And that sort of kind of looks like that. And if you couple that with the fact that she looks angry, with the fact that she's channeling a ton of the power and she's thrusting her hand out like she's doing something, with Rafe Judkins' interview where he said the first 15 minutes of season 3 is absolutely bonkers. It's a whole bunch of women just absolutely shredding each other. His words. This looks to be perhaps from that. And I, for one, am very excited to see that. What I can only assume is a fight within the tower. So it's a bunch of women shredding each other, and all of the other things he's alluded to kind of sounds like it's a fight within the White Tower, and I can't wait to see how it works out and how they play it out. But either way, I'm very excited to see Sophie on screen again. And just so you folks are aware, I actually did get a chance to interview her and Daniel Henney the other day, and that will be coming out at some point later this month. It was a real treat to do so. She's absolutely fantastic as she seems on screen in person. She's an even better person. She's absolutely amazing. So yeah, really, really neat photo here. All right, so this is one of those things. Remember I said at the first, this season is going to bring a lot of things back that people have really been wanting, that people who especially didn't like the first 2 seasons are going to like and probably bring them back into the fold of the show. I'm not saying the show is going to be identical to the books. It can't be because they've gone a little bit further afield and they kind of have to arc their way back in certain storylines. But there are some things people are looking for. And one of those things is character development for Rand, Perrin, and Mat, and seeing them back together again. I mean, seeing them together in the first episode of the first season, or first few episodes of the first season, was probably my favorite time with these 3. So we have Yoshi Stradowski here, who plays Randall Thor, Marcus Rutherford, who plays Perrin Ibera in the middle there, and Donald Finn in the foreground, who plays Matt Cawthon. And here are the 3 of them hanging out. So we saw them all get together at the end of Season 2. So Season 2 culminated in the Battle of Falme, and there was a lot of things that happened here. Rand's upright, so his wound is either doing a bit better. It's definitely not fully healed, because we saw it couldn't be healed within the confines of the show, which is just like the book series. But he is definitely upright. He looks happy. So that grin is the exact same grin he had in Season 1, Episode 1, one of the very first times we've seen him on screen with these 2. And what were they doing then? Well, they were drinking at a table outside the Wine Spring Inn, and here they are again, Perrin with mugs in hand, and Rand has that same grin on his face. I can't wait. A lot of complaints that I've heard from you folks, especially folks that didn't really care for the second or first season, was that we didn't see enough Perrin and Mat. And I totally agree with that. We need more Perrin and Mat. We need more character development for them. We need to see more of their storylines. I can assure you that in Season 3, we are getting that. We're getting the Battle of the Two Rivers. Perrin goes back home. That is happening. And Mat's in Tanchico for a good portion of the season. And they have a ton for the storylines, at least from what I'm aware of. And I've covered that in a ton of leak videos here on the channel over the last year and a half, folks. And we're getting close now. We're going to get to see more Perrin. We're going to get to see more Mat. And from this, it looks like we get to see the 3 of them together, which is wild to me. I can't wait to see the 3 of them on screen together. It's really exciting. Now we have Lanfear. Now, Lanfear is 100% a fan favorite, and it's one of those things that I think the show has done better than the books. There are a number of things the show, I think, improved upon from the book series, and there are a number of things that the books do better than the show, but the Forsaken, I think, in my opinion, at least anyway, are definitely head and shoulders above the ones in the books. They flesh them out. They make them more than just the 2D villains they are in the book series. And Natasha O'Keeffe, who plays Lanfear, really brings that certain something to this character. Matt Hatch's favorite character, the innkeeper over in the Dusty Wheel, is Lanfear, and I'm sure he couldn't be more impressed right now. I think they're doing a live stream as I speak, talking about these photos. When he gets to this, he's probably just over the moon, because he gets to see Lanfear again. Now, I want to talk about the photo here for a second. So we have Lanfear looking like Lanfear, but if you look at some of the stonework and the door and the colors and behind her, that stonework, the door and colors are reminiscent of Tar Valon. Now, Tar Valon has very, very specific traits, and stonework, especially like that, are very prominent and in almost every scene we've seen in Tar Valon and in the White Tower. So my guess is here she's in Tar Valon. Couldn't tell you why, but I am very interested to see how and why she's in Tar Valon, especially during the third season, because I think a certain thing is going to happen. We gave spoilers for book 5, and I'm not going to talk too much about that because I don't spoil big things in the books. But she's involved in that storyline, and I wonder if they're sowing the seeds of it right here. Either way, I'm very excited for that. Yeah. Natasha O'Keefe really, really is knocking out of the park as Lanfear, and I assume she's going to continue to do so during season 3. All right, next up, we have a picture of Elayne, the daughter heir, and Aviendha, the Maiden of the Spear. Now, Elayne is played by Kiera Coveney, and Aviendha is played by Aiel Smart, and here they are sharing a drink. Now, one of the kind of in-fandom jokes about Elayne is that she likes to drink a fair bit. She likes to drink and take baths. I mean, fair, I think everyone does. Almost everybody, anyway, likes either one or both of those things. And here we get to see her kind of hanging out with Aviendha. They're sharing a little moment together. Couldn't tell where they're at because the background's a little too blurry here, but I will say that I am excited to see Aviendha and Elayne interact because of certain interactions they have during the book series. And again, spoilers only to book 5. We're not going to go too far into that, but I think if they start sowing the seeds for some of those things earlier on, it'll pay off really big in the end. And I'm very excited to see how a lot of these things happen. Now, I've said it here on the channel before, and I'll say it again. Character development and character-driven stories are my favorites. Why I love The Wheel of Time. The action is nice. The excitement is nice. The plot twists and the mysteries are nice. They're okay. Character development, character moments, actual storyline where people learn and grow and move on. It's why I love the book series. And from what I've seen from what I've heard about from season 3, rather, we're going to get a fair bit of that, and I'm very excited. All right, next up. Now this one, folks, if I told you I poured over these pictures, I stopped on this one way more than once. Here we have 2 actresses who were leaked to the fandom, one by Watt Series and actually both by Watt Series, and the role for one of them was leaked by myself. So we have on the far left-hand side here, we have Olivia Williams playing Queen Morgase, and that costume, oh, man, Queen of Hearts reminiscent for sure, with the red of Andor and the white and the big puffed out shoulder pieces. I 100% get Queen of Hearts vibes from this, and I can't wait to see how Olivia plays this character and how her take on Queen Morgase leads into the storylines that we see in the books between her and Lord Gabriel. So I think we're going to see some really exciting stuff next season with that. Now, next to her we have Shoro Dishalu, who plays Elayne. Pardon me, I have Trakans in the brain. Who plays Elaida Sedai, the member of the Red Ajah, who is in the book series not well liked by the fans. Very few people really enjoy Elaida's character that much. Shora's going to change that. Shora is an amazing actress. And it's one of those things. Nobody liked Leandra in the book. She was pretty 2D. She was not really great. She just was a thing. She just was there. She was a plot device. She was not anyone's favorite character. I don't believe that I'm aware of. And you got Leandra in the show, and she knocked it out of the park. Lanfear, of course, people's favorite character in the book series. Natasha O'Keefe took that and just ran with it and made it even better. I think Shora's going to do the exact same thing for Elaida that was done for Leandrin. I can't wait to see Shora and hear her voice speak as Elaida for the first time. I get shivers even thinking about it, folks. If you don't know who Shora is, she was in The Expanse. She's been in a ton of other things too, but The Expanse is probably where you know her from, and she is an absolutely amazing actress, and one that Rafe had thought of as Elaida for a very long time before she was cast. So pretty exciting. All right, now this is another one I want to talk about, folks. So here we have Elayne, who's played by Kiera Coveney, In the middle, we have Egwene, played by Madeline Madden, and on the other side, we have Zoe Robbins, who plays Nynaeve. Now, this looks like they're full-fledged sisters. They all have their rings. They have stones in their rings, or at least I can see a green stone in Elayne's ring. We can't see Nynaeve's ring, but Nynaeve is wearing a yellow dress. Elayne is wearing a green dress. And from the looks of things, it looks like Egwene is wearing... I mean, her horse is decked out far more than the other two horses. She is dressed far more fancy. And that sort of kind of looks like the Flame of Tarvalon worked in the front of her dress there. So, if you know, you know, I guess the best way to put it. But I don't think this is an image from the normal storylines of Season 3. We've seen a few things so far, especially within the teaser trailer, where it showcased sort of like dark Matt and like evil Perrin and evil Nynaeve and Elayne and evil Min and evil Egwene in the ways with Lanfear and Moraine kind of crawling away from them. I think that those were World of Dreams, or at least dreams that people had, or perhaps from the archways, or any number of other things. And the way they're dressed here, the differences, especially in the way that they're holding themselves, their facial expressions that we don't normally see on them in the show, because let's face it, Nynaeve is still very unsure of herself in certain situations. Elayne is still coming into her own. She doesn't really have that regal look. Here she looks regal as get out, all get out, 100%. And then you have sort of a sad wisdom in Egwene's face. I know I'm really talking about it a lot here, but the costuming especially, they are decked out. And so far in the show, we haven't seen that. So I'm wondering either they do some real big leveling up the next season, or perhaps this is from something else. I don't believe we get to see full-fledged sisters for any of these women in the next season, at least unless they make some major changes from the books. So I think this is from something else, and I'm very excited to see where this comes from. And again, I can't help but gush over the costumes, folks. This picture's been up a while. I'm sure you're looking at it. Wow, that's all I can say is the show itself is absolutely gorgeous. All right, this is another thing. Some people have complained that we didn't get to see Lan train with the boys, especially Rand. And one of the big things that I liked about the book series was the relationship between Rand and Lan. And it certainly happened very, very early on. It started in book 1, got more prominent at the beginning of book 2, and then they were separated for quite some time after that. But it was one of those things that kind of stayed with you, those teachings, the things that Rand and Lan said together. We saw a little bit of it last season when Rand saw the Amyrlin. Lan had a few lines that he gave Rand from the book series. But one of the things that a lot of people missed was Rand learning the sword. Now, we know he learned a little bit of it off screen last season from one of his patients in Cairhien. But we were all everyone was wondering. People who really enjoyed the books and people who had never read the books, but kind of knew some things about Rand were wondering, when is he going to get that Blade Master status? When is he going to start training with the sword? Because we didn't get to see him fight Turok in Season 2, which is one of the things that I really wanted to see. But let's face it, he couldn't have, because there was no build-up, there was no training with the sword, he wasn't with Lan, he had no one else. He got a little bit of teaching off screen, but it didn't showcase it, so it wasn't really a part of his character development for the show just yet. Seeing this, and seeing the backdrop, it looks to me like Rand does get that training, does get that closeness with Lan in the next season, and that's one of the things that I've been really waiting for, and I know a lot of people out there have as well. I can't wait to see this play out on screen and see actually how they handle it, and see them both just practicing together. Like that's going to be absolutely amazing. So again, Rand al'Thor, played by Yosha Stradowski, and Lan Mandragoran, played by Daniel Henney. And again, I did get a chance to speak with Lan the other day, and you'll see that here on the channel in a little bit. And it's something I didn't mention earlier, and I probably should have when I was back here on Matt, Perrin, and Rand. I also had a chance to sit down with Perrin and Matt and talk with Marcus and Donal a little bit. Wild, folks. That's all I can say. It'll be out here on the channel probably sometime later this month, but I'll keep you well posted. Maybe sooner than you think, but either way, I was very excited to sit down with them, and they're absolutely amazing. They're cooler to talk to than their characters are on screen. Very much so. All right, where were we? Okay, Rand and Lan. All right, this is another one I want to talk about, folks. I mean, the Aiel are gorgeous. That's all I can say. The costuming, absolutely fantastic. This has to be in the waste. You have the sand, you have the rocks, you have like the tumbleweed-esque type things that are going on here. So we're going to try to go through these characters left to right. And I'm going to mispronounce some of the names. I do apologize if I do. But on the far side, we have Nukaka Coster-Waldau, who plays Bear. Next to her, in kind of the background, is Maiden of the Spear. That's Sinov Makodi Lund, who plays Melindra. Next to her, we have Lan, played by Daniel Henney. Gentleman in the back there, couldn't tell you who that is in the far, far back. But in the foreground, in the middle, we have Bjorn Landberg, the absolutely amazing German singer. He plays Rourke, and then the clan chief Rourke. Next to him, we have another gentleman in the far back. Couldn't tell you who he is. I'm not unsure. I don't know if they have a credit or if they're an extra or if it's another character that we're going to get to introduce later on, but it's something in someone, those two people in the back I haven't seen yet. Next to Rourke, we have Rand al'Thor, played by Josef Stradowski, and then, of course, Rosamund Pike, who plays Moraine Sedai. And then on the far side there, we have Salome Gunnersdottir, who plays Melanie. It's, again, mispronouncing some things there, and even some of the character names. So I got taken to task for a couple of these character names last video, and I just did it again. So one of the character names I just mispronounced, and it is what it is. I'm terrible at pronouncing things. I do apologize for that. But let's talk a bit about those photos. So we get to see those signature Aiel spears, and they are. I want one, folks. If someone can grab one for me that works in the show that's watching this video, please steal me a spear. I want one. Or Rand's sword, but I want a spear for sure. But the Aiel looks absolutely amazing. So you have the wise ones on either end, the maidens and the spear in the back, and of course Rourke the clan chief. Just absolutely imposing figure he is in the middle. And we saw what we thought was him in the teaser trailer walking with Rand towards Alcardal, the Golden Bowl. We weren't 100% it was him, but seeing him standing like this and kind of like the figure he cuts, I'm a little bit more confident that's likely him. Either way, I'm pretty excited about us. All right. Again, promise you more Matt next season. We're getting more Matt. So this photo showcases Donald Finn as Matt, Zoe Robbins as Nynaeve, and Kay Alexander to the far side there as Min. And one of the things I've said in a lot of my leaks videos is we get a Tanchico storyline next season, and it's likely a merging of the Tanchico / Ebu Dar storylines within the book series. Again, we're not going to get into too much what they are, but they involved a ton of these different characters all kind of crammed together. Looks like they're amalgamating them in the show for the next season from what I've seen and heard over the last year and a half, and I'm very excited for that. And Matt is central to this storyline, and we're going to see more Matt on screen, which just makes me happy. Looks like they're in an inn or a bar, or maybe in the outside of an inn or bar. Probably an outside. This looks like a street, actually. People are kind of sitting around. And somebody's trying to sell them something. Now, this person on the left here, couldn't tell you who they are. I tried to figure out who that actor was. I couldn't. If you folks can, and there are a ton of other content creators that are doing stuff in this right now, including the Dusty Wheel, who's doing a really deep dive into these photos for hours and hours. If you can figure out who that is, let me know in the comments down below, because I couldn't. And again, I don't watch anyone else's stuff when I do these breakdowns because I want this to be my own thoughts and feelings. But either way, costuming of these folks, absolutely cool as far as I'm concerned. Looks like they're trying to blend in with the locals from the way Matt's dressed. A little bit of lace, folks. And we're starting to see that early on. For those of you who are like, oh, Matt doesn't wear lace. Matt totally wears lace, and he loves it, folks. He super loves it. And he starts being upset when he couldn't wear it later on. So there's that. Either way, very excited to see what this is. I believe it's probably from the Tanchico storylines. Either way, I'm excited to see how and what this fits into the third season. All right, so that's all those photos. Let's kind of shift screens here again. We're gonna bring me back up. There we go. Yeah. So a lot of really neat stuff there. Now, the Wheel of Time's come out and said a number of different times that we're getting Wednesday every single Wednesday until release. And this is, folks, we're going to eat well. Wheel of Time fans are eating well. I complained a lot when Lord of the Rings came out. It's the people who love that show, and I, for one, am not one of them. I did not enjoy The Rings of Power at all. And it's not because I'm a huge Tolkien fan. I'm I'm an okay Tolkien fan. I read the books in high school, folks. I'm not a huge Tolkien fan. I just didn't like the show. It looked gorgeous, but it had no substance as far as I'm concerned. They ate well when season 2 came out. Far better, I think, than they deserved. But I feel bad for feeling jealous then, because we're really eating well now as Wheel of Time fans, folks. There's a ton of stuff out there. We're going to get more stuff every week. There's tons of interviews coming. There's tons of press coming. There's tons of other reveals coming in the next few weeks, coming leading up to March 13th when season 3 drops. I can't wait to share some of this stuff with you folks. I can't wait to be surprised at some of this stuff. I can't wait to see the show and sit down and do all of my breakdowns. So before we jump into the community section and I get a chance to sit down and talk a little bit with Critter, I want to talk just a bit about what season 3 is going to look like for me. For those who are new to the channel since season 2, and a fair number, I think at least 10,000 of you are, at least as far as subscribers go. We've had a lot of new subscribers since season 2. I do a ton of videos per episode. So we're likely going to see 3 episodes of season 3 drop the first night. For me, that'll be Thursday evening, March 12th. It comes out March 13th, but I'm in the Atlantic time zone. I tend to get it a bit earlier than everybody else just because where I'm sitting at in the world. So it comes out the night before. I'll watch 1 episode with the family, and I'll come in here and you'll get my review. You get a video with a review, you'll get an Easter egg video, you'll get a breakdown video, and then usually at the end of every single episode there's a coming up next. For the first 2 videos, I won't do that because all 3 drop at one time. But for the third video, I will do a video based on that coming up next, what we can see. We'll go through that. And then any news that's dropped, any other things that are going on in the fandom, anything that happens, there's usually interviews, there's usually other things that happen. You're looking at least a video every single day when the show drops from me. And that's a lot for me. This is a hobby. This is not a job. I have a career. I have a family. I do other things, folks. This is just something I do for fun. But man, it's my favorite time when the season drops and I'm doing a video every single night for you folks, and I just get to geek out about the Wheel of Time the whole time. You'll see 2 months where you're getting a video every day from me, kind of like professional YouTubers do. That's their job. They put a video out every day. I don't do that. I do a video a week, maybe 2 videos a week, sometimes a video every 2 weeks, a little bit intermittent here and there, because it's a hobby and it's just something fun I love to do. But that's, folks, when you get a ton of content from me is when that show drops, because it's just, there's so much to talk about. And then afterwards, we do full season reviews. We do breakdowns of what's going on. There's tons. In the lead up to the season, we'll do guides on like what to expect, explaining things from the books, all kinds of great stuff. So you're not going to miss that. So again, if you haven't subscribed, please think about doing so. There's a ton of stuff coming from me. All right, so let's bring in Critter here, and we're going to talk just a bit about the TikTok ban. We're going to talk about where the TikTok creators are going to go, and especially Critter herself, where she's going to go and where you can find her if this happens again. All right, folks, thank you so much for joining me here at my community section. I have a very special guest with me today, Critter. She is one of the largest Wheel of Time TikTok creators right now, and with all of the stuff that's been going on, there's a lot of uncertainty around the app and how things are happening. So some people may have to change where they're hosting some of their content a little bit. So we figured we'd have Critter on to talk to her a little bit about what's going on, what's happening in the US. I know a lot of my Canadian viewers and whatnot, you've heard of it, but it doesn't really affect you, but it does affect people just specifically in the US, and where you can find her content from here on. So hi, Critter. Thanks for joining us today. I appreciate it. How are things?
Oh, thank you for having me. It's I'm happy to be on. Things are crazy right now. Crazy. Oh my gosh. I don't know that I've used TikTok as much as I have in the last 4 days in a very long time, because I was so scared and sad that it was going away. And then all of a sudden it came back. So yeah, after what, 12 hours or something, it's been a wild, wild ride. But I'm happy that it's back. It's back under very weird and suspicious circumstances and uncertain circumstances. The ban is still in effect, just whether it's being enforced and how long it's not going to be enforced is all a big open question, which is part of the reason that I'm definitely planning going forward to kind of increase my presence on YouTube and Instagram, even though I've been on there already. TikTok, the content that I do on TikTok under my username KRITTERXD is I do a ton of Wheel of Time content and other sci-fi fantasy book talk type content for the most part. The Wheel of Time has always been my bread and butter. That's how I got my start. I did Wheel of Time memes, just like the stupidest cosplays, over trending audios, and I love that part of my journey, and I still do them sometimes. More recently, though, I do more in-depth kind of like, oh, you saw this bit of lore in the Wheel of Time show. Let's talk about it, right?
Mhm.
Like, what's a Terran Grial? What's the bond? What are the three O's? That kind of thing. And those videos usually take longer than a minute, right? And TikTok, you could do like 10-minute videos, longer than that if you want to. And so that was a limitation on YouTube because up until very recently, YouTube Shorts only allowed 1-minute videos. And so the vast majority of my TikTok content, my vertical content, I couldn't repost to YouTube. And so that was a definite drawback and it
Mhm.
limited the amount of times that I could post on YouTube. But now they have a 3-minute shorts option. And so I'm really hopeful and excited that now anything I make that's vertical, that's 3 minutes or less, can also go on YouTube. And apparently, Reels just this morning has started telling people that they can post. Instagram has started telling people they can post 3-minute reels too, which is new because those can
Yeah.
only be a minute and a half. That feels so shady to me. Like the timing of it all feels so shady. Like at least YouTube started this, like months ago, the
Yeah.
rolling out of 3 minutes, but Instagram just this,
They're like,
just
it's
right
gone.
whenever.
Let's horn in on the market share a little bit. It's what it feels
Exactly.
like.
So
Yeah.
it's gross. I'm glad it exists, right? Because again, I've cross-posted when I could, but
Mhm.
now I'll be able to cross-post a lot more frequently. So yeah, my presence on YouTube and Instagram will be bigger, even though the whole meta thing is it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite thing, but
Yeah.
since
No.
TikTok is so uncertain,
Yeah.
I feel like I gotta hedge my bets. So, anyways, yeah, that was a long rant, but that's where I am. And I'm happy to be most of those places.
There you go. Well, I think most of us feel the same way about like
Yeah.
X and Meta in general as well. So, but yeah, so Critter will still be on TikTok. I think for right now, at least anyway. There's a lot of questions
That's
on
the plan.
how long this will happen for if they don't get a buyer. If there's a lot of stuff and
There's a lot of stuff.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff. But so what I'm going to do, folks, is down below in the description box, I'm going to leave a bunch of links. So first link will be for Critter's TikTok, and then for all of her social media and her YouTube channel. So for those of you who are Critter fans who like her content, or maybe don't know her content just yet, because I know a lot of people watch my videos that don't particularly like the show a whole lot, but they do enjoy the books. It's always nice to find new Wheel of Time content creators. So it'll all be under there. And if you like what she does, make sure you follow her everywhere, just in case TikTok doesn't exactly pan out for those of you in the US. And I mean, I would like to say that everyone knows exactly what's going on, but I don't think that's totally the case. Essentially, what had happened was is TikTok had some troubles within the U.S. I think within the U.S. government, and people that are 3 times my age that can't program a VCR decided that
It was a national security threat
yeah,
without much backing that claim.
which is wild because in Canada, Canadian Forces members are encouraged to post on TikTok to increase the reach of the forces and to do like our own recruiting and stuff like
Wow.
that. So, and there's a lot of official Canadian Forces accounts and official government accounts too. Like all of our party leaders, I think with the exception of maybe the Conservative Party, but the rest of the party leaders all have their own official TikTok accounts, and it's not a problem up here. Yeah, I think it's a money thing.
Oh, 1,000% a money thing. That's what's so frustrating. And the fact that it went away before the ban was supposed to be implemented and then magically came back and attributed it coming back
To a
to a
certain individual.
certain individual. It just feels like a big propaganda campaign, which to me just is gross.
Yeah.
TikTok is still my favorite platform. I love it. It's so fun and addicting. Don't get me wrong, and it's ruined my attention span, but I love it. And the fact that now it's coming back under such like weird circumstances just has me like nervous. I don't know. Well, time will tell what's going to
Yeah.
happen with
Well,
it.
we'll see. I think 90-day reprieve is what I've heard right now. I think is what they're saying. So hopefully they just kind of concede and say, okay, well,
Yeah. Before some kind
the
of
will of the
deal.
people. Yeah, the will of the people
Yeah.
says. I mean, you take away people's entertainment and they start to think.
Yeah, right. That's what's going to get people mad, which is
Yeah.
so interesting. But I get it. I was mad.
Yeah,
I was really annoyed.
I was
And
mad
the thing
too.
is, yeah, whenever it got voted on, whenever it got
Mm,
passed and signed, I was just like, oh, it just doesn't feel super real. Like it's been at risk before, and somehow it came, it came out on top, and this time it literally went dark there, and I was just like, is this is this real life? Like, what's happening? I couldn't believe it. It just felt so, I don't know, Big
I
Brother, like,
I think my favorite part of TikTok was yesterday in the last 3 or 4 hours before it dark when everyone was just like, "Well, I got nothing left to
we're,
lose," and they
we're
posted
all
some
gonna
wild.
die.
They posted
So
some
here's one
wild
secret
things. Yeah,
I feel I have to share with you. That trending audio.
yeah,
Yeah, it's been crazy.
yeah.
So,
So
and
again,
now we're
folks,
back.
Critter. If you don't follow her on TikTok, the link is down below. Go follow her there for now if you use TikTok. If not, she's going to be cross-posting now on her other social media platforms and on YouTube as well. And if you're watching me, you have YouTube. You watch YouTube, so go subscribe
Yeah.
to her, please.
Thank
It's
you. And I
always
don't just do short content either on YouTube. I have the Wheel and Chill show, which is a live stream where we talk a lot about the Wheel of Time show. So if you're not a show fan, you might not want to watch it, but we talk about other things too. And I do reaction videos to other stuff. Like I'm about to restart my Vox Machina series
very
because I've
good.
been away for a while, and so I do other non-short content as well. Just my bread and butter for a very long time has been short form vertical content. So I'm happy to bring more of it to YouTube soon.
All right, well, again, subscribe to her everywhere. She's fantastic. She's awesome. And it's
Thank you.
always good to watch every Wheel of Time content creator you possibly can because, I mean, we're all a big family when it comes down to it, and we all should be supporting each other. So there's that. So any last thoughts or words before we let the folks at home go?
Just thank you for supporting all Wheel of Time creators, and I'm really really excited for the show coming up soon, which is great. And I know that the content is going to start ramping up super hard amongst our community, so it's something to really look forward to for sure.
All right, awesome, folks. March 13th, season 3 of the Wheel of Time. Make sure, if you haven't already subscribed to Prime, if you drop your subscription between seasons, subscribe to it the 12th and make sure the Wheel of Time is the very first thing you watch. And if you are already subscribed, I'm starting a rewatch here in the channel very shortly. So make sure you're doing that. Dusty Wheel's doing a rewatch. Talk Render is doing a rewatch. WOT Series is doing a rewatch. Dragon Mount is doing a rewatch. Who else is doing a rewatch? It's like there's so many people doing rewatches
I
right now.
A lot of people. It's fine. You name the ones that I'm sure of, at least.
So if you don't already have a favorite content creator to follow, just rewatch it on your own. The more views, the more watches, the more it kind of puts the fire under Sony and Amazon to say, hey, this is profitable, we'll give you a 4th season. Because that is still up in the air right now, folks, just to remember. All right, thank you all very much for sticking with us here to the very end, and here's to many more.